Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Take dose. As always, I am your homie Davvon. Without further delay, let's play. Peacetime, 23 years of age. And game crash. A rendezvous with Octavia. You carefully inquire about the lost knowledge Octavia was speaking of. What is she trying to find in these ancient manuscripts? We've already done all this, so I'm just gonna skip through it all. I don't know why it started us back here, but this is where we're at. So we got a +1 for our relationship with Octavia Melanidis. Why does the music feel really loud? Theology +2, willpower +10. We don't care about our theology at all. Year 1142, 24 years of age, peacetime. Year 1142, the Emperor's heirs in danger. News from the capital quickly reaches every corner of the empire. Jarian and Flavius, the heirs to the throne, have left the Emperor's palace for the province of Monia, which is ruled by Great Chancellor Agerius Monrogue. The Great Chancellor has accused the Emperor's court of harboring malefactors conspiring against the imperial heirs. This is why he has offered them shelter and safety in his own impregnable citadel. The common people are particularly worried by the news. They take it as a sign that the Chancellor is seeking to solidify his power by holding the heirs hostage. If this continues, Monrogue could coerce the Emperor into revoking the imperial law, thus depriving the common estate of any and all rights. All hope for reform in the empire has vanished. From farmer to rich industrialist, the commoners are growing desperate. In your province, the authorities are trying their best to put the people at ease. The magistrate of Anazot makes a speech from his balcony to the excited crowd below. Ramiel Vermin. Trust in your emperor, good people. The imperial heirs are the future of the Great Tempest dynasty. The emperor has made the wise decision to send them far away from the scheming court. Great Chancellor Monrogue will take good care of them and keep them safe. All glory to the empire. All glory to the Tempests. Okay, I see you. Chapter peacetime ends. We're gonna survive peacetime. Examine possible chapter endings to check which way you are headed. To achieve the goal you've chosen, you'll have to meet all of its conditions at the end of the chapter. Auten is sentenced. Protector of the people and evidence against Auten. Wait. Protector of the people. Which one was that? All we need is justice at 8 or 9. We can't do this. We can't do this. Justice 10 would be nice. If we can get justice 10, I'd be happy with that too. Hold on a sec. No, heir of the family. A family of means. Mother recovers. Branded the peace. Was it protector of the people that we needed? Protector of the people, which means we have to protect the common folk. Or what was the other one? Evidence against Auten. Gather evidence. Okay. The search for evidence. You are walking up the marble stairs that lead to the doors of the prefecture. The sword of the younger twin, carved from stone, looms above the doors, just as the case of Dorius Auten now looms over you. Again, we do have all 4 lives left. Preparing this case will take many long months, or even years. The words of Prefect Elborn are evidence enough of that. And time and again, you'll ask yourself, are you ready to see this case through to the end? What if William Shatner is reading this? Father meets you at the stairs, and judging by the dour look about him, news of your most recent case has already reached him. Father meets you at the stairs, and judging by the dour look about him, news of your most recent case has already reached him. Robert Brante. Son, I didn't want to discuss this back home. Elborn is our friend, and I stand by him at all times. But he's dragged you into something that is far, far too dangerous. I'm not going to repeat your grandfather's mistakes, so I won't tell my son how to live his life or what to do. But I ask you to please consider our family. Would it be worth it to let us come to harm, even if the triumph of justice and law is at stake? Yeah, I don't know about that one. There are already rumors at the prefecture. They say you're getting ready to summon a highborn Arachne into court. Soon these rumors will spread beyond the prefecture walls. You and I are both Brants. Perhaps we ought to stay away from something so dangerous. Some battles are too ugly for us to win. You can always slow down the process and bide your time with routine paperwork. Avoid attracting unwanted attention. I didn't know our father was a bitch. This way your career and your family honor would not be at risk. Trust me in this, son. Rather than making a selfless sacrifice, we could achieve far more through tireless service for the good of the law. You promise father you will consider his words. You say goodbye and return to your office. You are at a crossroads. If you are to make any headway in the case against Otten, you have to start now while the trail of his misdeeds is still fresh. You have little first-hand knowledge of Otten's criminal wrongdoings. Only Tomas's stories and what you have seen for yourself. Turning this case into a trial requires far more evidence than that. Your friend could be the key to the entire case. If he can help you find the other men who have suffered under the remorseless Arctian. But Tomas is a hunted man. He has every reason to lay low and steer clear of the courthouse. If Tomas could put you in touch with other victims and witnesses among the soldiers and officers of the Legion, perhaps you could gather evidence yourself. But the Legion may meet a lone outsider such as you with too much resistance. Things might get ugly. You consider your options. Apart from Tomas, who else could help you gather compelling evidence against the commander? Auden is an Arctian from an ancient dynasty. Anyone involved will hold their tongue no matter what. The way things are right now, not a single soul would risk angering the Ottens to aid a middling judge from an unknown family. Unless an even more highborn Arctian chooses to support your cause. Gaius Tempest, the Imperial Overseer of Magra, the Emperor's own brother. Every aristocrat in the province knows he detests Dorius Otten for remaining loyal to Archduke Melanidas. Ensuring the Overseer's support would increase your authority greatly and give you a chance to gather evidence against Otten without Tomas lifting a finger. But the Imperial Overseer is one step above the Prefect, your immediate superior. You can only address Gaius Tempest directly if you keep it a secret from Elborn. Communicating directly with the Overseer of the province means defying your loyalty to Elborn. Are you willing to do this? Puzzled, you start pacing around your office. It's time to decide how you will begin this case. Depending on what you choose, the case against Otten could lead you to unprecedented success, or end your career, or even your very life. Hold on, I have to check my stuff again. Evidence against Otten. I need the evidence, so that's what we're gonna do. I have 2 lives to play with, so that's what I'm gonna do. Search for evidence on your own. So this will, foreshadowing. It's gonna cost me a life most likely. Sorry, I need a little drink. You decide to gather the evidence entirely on your own. You begin investigating the crimes committed by Otten without anyone else's support. You start with the Imperial Legion. After plenty of inquiries, demands, and threats, you finally get a list of Otten's other victims. List in hand, you go to the armory of Anazat. There, you meet the Legion officers who have already met a lesser death in a duel with the Arctian. All of them nobles of the mantle, ennobled only recently, young, and full of potential to serve the good of the Empire. They are all anxious to avoid getting challenged again. For many of them, another duel would be their last. None of them are eager to provide written statements about their duels. It would be improper for a soldier to bear witness against his commander, the latter's conduct notwithstanding. They finally agree to have their testimony committed to ink and paper only after you reassure them, again and again, that their statements will put an end to Otten's murderous rampage. Their stories paint a clear picture, you realize. There is a method to Otten's madness. All of the officers disobey the commander at least once or express their disagreement, no matter how respectfully. More and more officers are starting to realize that Otten's loyalty lies with Archduke Melanidas and not his lawful superior, the overseer, So more and more officers are getting challenged by Otten. Have Otten's duels gone beyond his passion for sword fighting? Or are they just an excuse to eliminate any suspicion of his treason? Once all the officers' statements have been collected, you make your way back from the Legion barracks as the sun sets beyond the horizon. The night grows dark. You hear a sudden thundering of boots. Several bulky silhouettes emerge from the dark behind you. You quicken your pace and the strangers break into a run. You turn around and draw your sword. Your pursuers encircle you as they draw theirs. You stand ready to defend your life. The strangers attack. Their faces are concealed, but their fighting style betrays their Legion training. You abandon any hope of launching a counterattack and focus on defense, somehow deflecting every blow. Then you see an opening and dash towards the nearest home, your back now safely pressed against a wall. The assassins get closer and form a half circle around you. You have nowhere to run now. You meet them with a flurry of desperate slashes, doing everything you can to keep them away. But your strength is already ebbing with every deflected blow. Then finally, you are felled by a blade in the stomach. The assailants form a tight circle around you, blocking out the darkening sky. Then you hear a gruff, unfamiliar voice. "We've got a message for you. Sir, mind your own business." The soldier steps on your chest and stabs you in the throat with his sword. You choke on your own blood, shudder, and die. Death comes quickly, almost painlessly. ... Ellipsis. Hey, first death. You fall into a pain that embraces you like a soft feather bed. You feel light, free. There are no restraints, just a warm glow that envelops you in its secure embrace. The waves carry you. Their touch is soft. They delicately enshroud what was once your body. It is a feeling unlike anything you have ever experienced before, something absolute and complete. You touch something greater, the reason behind everything, the reason for your very existence. You were sculpted from this light. It was the first thing you ever felt, a boundless and sincere unity of the diverse. Your beginning was a spark that cast this light in all directions, and now you are here again, one with the beginning of everything. The light gleaming from you resembles the light of the shining pillar. You still see it in the north as always. The waves of light carry you to two figures. The elder is nearest. He is ready to accept you. He is quiet, wise, kind, and pure. The younger waits further back. You do not know what he is yet. The waves pause at the elder's feet. He leans over you and plants a feather-like kiss on your forehead. The kiss spreads all over you. You are filled with unparalleled delight and bliss. You exist. You are unique. There is no one else like you. They know this, and they love you. You will never be alone. You are a part of them, a part of your family, a part of this universe. The twin gods will never leave you. They will watch over you constantly. The elder softly touches you as you lie spread out amongst the waves, sending you further down the torrent of light. You float on to the top of the silver tree's spreading crown. The closer you get to the silver tree, the heavier you become. The waves draw you down along its trunk, but you do not wish to part with the warmth and so the softness with the love. You turn around. The elder is still watching you. He nods. All is as it should be. Go. Your time has not yet come. You must return to the world now. As you tumble down toward your body, you comprehend the true meaning of your lesser death and the divine love that has been revealed to you. Love only exists not only in the hereafter. It is present in the entire design of the twins. That is the origin of all life in this world. What is the manifestation of this love in your mortal life? Yourself. A sudden comprehension of love with which the entire world is imbued illuminates in your mind, but then it fades away and vanishes. You regain the sensation of your flesh. It is heavy and unwieldy. It lacks that lightness, that light. It is a burden. It is smothering you. You gasp for air. Your chest expands painfully. You feel as though your lungs are about to burst. The stagnant order of the crypt fills them. Revolting, but so real. You are back. Ba-da-da-dun! You can feel the world again, the cold stone of the tomb, a weak gust of stagnant air. You rise again from the stone slab in the middle of your family crypt and look closely at your arm. A new black mark encircles it. Little else has changed in your body, born anew, although getting used to it will take some time. This death is now behind you. It's time to return to your life. Go to work in the morning as usual. Having returned to life, you do all you can to ensure that nobody learns about your death. Any attempt to find your killers and bring them to justice would only hinder your progress in the case. Those Legion soldiers were just following orders, and it's not difficult to figure out whose. For now, you do your best to recover and commit to paper every instance and incident, every name, every circumstance. The once thin folder against Auten grows fatter by the day. One day, Prefect Elborn pays you a visit to see your progress firsthand. Augustine Elborn. You've done great work, Brante. Commander Auten isn't even bothering to Commander Atun isn't even bothering to cover his tracks. I must say, this evidence alone would be enough to indict anyone. Anyone save for an Arcanian noble, sadly. So your work here is far from over. I see you realize that. The way things stand right now, summoning an Arcanian to trial in court of law would indict us rather than him. It would be best to postpone the case for now, but keep the folder safe and secure. If you want to have any chance of getting him indicted in court, we need to make the nobles in the province recognize duels as acts of murder. This means defying a tradition of old, a road perilous and seldom traveled. It means enforcing the rule of law over the Anazak gentry. For now, Sir Brante, return to your other duties and pay particular attention to any dueling incidents. We will take our next step against Sir Otten when the time is right. Yo, we're almost max level in Valor. Scheming also got a +1. We're inexperienced schemers. Evidence against Otten. Event has happened. You now have the evidence you need to bring Dorius Otten to trial. We just need to get our... I think our justice needs to go up a couple levels yet. Bada bing, bada boom, bada boom, bada bing. Stefan's Gambit. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Greater than 1 indifference. Before we get into that, give me 1 second here. I need to see what my current thingy-majiggers are. Okay. So, scheming 9, manipulate. Okay, so we're a really good soldier and we have solid diplomacy. I need to see occupation. Career is in dangerous position, but it's not at 2, and our justice is at 8. We need 9 or 10 or 8 or 9. As long as we keep our 8, we should be okay. Stefan's Gambit. You have hardly found any time for family matters this year. The events taking place in the city keep you busy at all times. Tonight, you come home extremely late, but the fireplace in the sitting room is lit. By the fire, you see Stefan with a glass of wine. Your elder brother has been waiting for you. You take a seat in the chair by Stefan's side. Your brother keeps turning his glass with his long fingers. Stefan Brante. Davvon Jr., we need to have a talk about Gloria. She flatly refuses to behave as she ought to. Her antics are ruining her family's reputation. If this situation persists, nobility of the sword will be out of the question. Brother, I do not wish her ill, but we have no right to sit idly by. Regrettably, Gloria will never truly be part of the Brante family. Her origins are too tarnished, so it is our duty to find her a new family. It is high time Gloria got married. But we can't just give our sister to a commoner, can we? And how can any noble wed her knowing her origins? It's been a stumbling block for a long time, but I finally found a suitable match for her. His name is Jose El Pelletier. He is a young nobleman of the sword, recently graduated from the college, and now he has a position at the city hall. You recall a reception several years ago where he couldn't take his eyes off Gloria? Pelletier has been obsessed with her ever since. Not even her lowly origins can deter him. Admittedly, Gloria does not reciprocate his affections just yet. So let us convince Gloria that becoming Sir El Pelletier's bride is her chance to escape her current situation. And then let us pray she comes to her senses and puts her rebellious ways behind her. Isn't this an ideal solution? After marrying El Pelletier, Gloria will be a noblewoman herself. We'll be granting her the freedom she's craved since she was a girl, and then she can write poetry and do whatever else takes her fancy. I will enter into negotiations with El Pelletier's family. Rumor has it Jose's father already has a future wife in mind for him, the daughter of an important chancellery official. But Jose's passion must win out in the end, don't you agree? As for you, Davvon Jr., please help me with Gloria. You're closest with her. You can see how beneficial this match will be. She must fulfill her duty to the family that took her in, after all. Stefan looks at you expectantly. You are at a crossroads. Will you accept your brother's plan or refuse him? Will this marriage be a blessing, and for whom? Let me look at my destinies really quick. What is our family outcome? I want the family not to fall apart. Favored by the overseer, which is not going to happen. Heir of the family also is not going to happen because I'm not going to be ennobled by the sword. So that means we have none of the family outcomes then? Possible? What is our reputation right now? Because I'm pretty sure our reputation is god-awful ass. Tomas, Sophia, Dorius does not like Ashian. Wait, we need our family. Where's my family at? Family. Where's family? House of Brant. Here we go. Reputation is disgraced. Where is my family ties? House of Brant, personality, family. Here we go. Okay, so Amelia is dead. Why would I have a relationship with Amelia Elborn? Maybe she's not dead. Grandfather is indifferent. Sympathy, affection. Stefan has sympathy, Nathan, and Gloria. I'm not the best on the entirety of the house. So, okay, I'm sorry for taking so long to relook at it, but I want to make sure the line, like this lines up with what I want. Unity above 8, willpower above 0. Family in ruins, which we'll be able to avoid. Gloria Brant. Gloria, secret plot with Gloria. Family at peace. How do we get family at peace? Wait. Unite the family. How do I unite the family? Okay, hold on. Gloria Brant. Oh, family at peace. Where is... I've seen unite the family. Where is unite the family? Where did I see unite the family? Ah, either way. Gloria Brant. Branded by dishonor. Reputation equals 0. Family at peace. You know, honestly, I'm gonna deny. I'm gonna refuse. I'm gonna refuse here because I think I can still get the result that I want the way I want. Your words slice through the silence of the sleeping house. You disagree with Stefan and will not participate in his plots against your sister. Stefan does not say anything, but his grip on the glass tightens. Finally, you hear the sound of breaking glass, and glimmering shards fall to the floor. Stefan pensively contemplates the blood running down his palm. Stefan Brant. Pity. What a pity our grandfather, Sir Gregor, is no longer with us. He would make both you and Gloria see reason. Neither of you is capable of grasping what family and blood mean. So I suppose I must bear this burden alone. Stefan leaves the room. You are left alone in front of the dying fire. Yo, Stefan isn't different. After your conversation last night, Stefan mostly stays silent and treats Gloria with pointed courtesy. The family breathes a collective sigh of relief. Could the feud between Stefan and Gloria finally be over? You are the only one who is aware of the scheme your brother is concocting. Unity plus 1. I guess we get more unity. I already maxed unity willpower, so I didn't really get much out of that other than trying to get the end that I want. The illegitimate girl. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Your home is quiet tonight. Father is away, arbitrating disputes in Magrin's villages. Stefan is visiting one of his high-placed patrons. After a dinner spent in silence, everyone retreats to their chambers. You are about to retire for the night when Gloria calls out to you. Gloria. Davvon Jr., wait a minute, I have an important favor to ask you. I read that really fast, let me slow down. Davvon Jr., wait a minute, I have an important favor to ask you. Whenever they start anything with Davvon Jr., I immediately read it fast. Your sister leads you to her longtime refuge, the library. Here in the shadows between the bookcases, you will not be overheard. Gloria. Brother, I wish to speak with you before Stefan returns. His scheming is becoming unbearable. It's beyond Sir Robert's power to stop him, let alone Mother or Nathan. You are my only hope. You shrug. All families argue from time to time, but every quarrel has to end sooner or later. Gloria. Yes, it will end when Stefan finally gets rid of me. As far as he's concerned, I'm just a stumbling block and a stain on his father's good name. He lets me stay in the house only to avoid causing a scandal in high society. But as soon as the Brants get his precious nobility of the sword, I'll be out in the street in the blink of an eye. Davvon Jr., you don't want for me to get kicked out of the family, do you? Please help me. I need to convince Sir Robert to adopt me and make me legitimate. After that, it won't be so easy for Stefan to depose of me. And then I won't bear the stigma of being a bastard anymore. I know Sir Robert would agree. Only by virtue of the love he has for our mother. But Stefan is standing in his way. Tell me, will you help me? An illegitimate child who has never known her family, her father, a stranger in the family. Gloria looks at you with hopeful, pleading eyes. If I remember right, in order to unite the family, a family at peace, unite the family, I must not do all this stuff with people. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to refuse her. I'm sorry. You refuse your sister. The world doesn't work the way she would like it to. She is a commoner and an illegitimate child. Why pointlessly revolt against it? Gloria is demanding too much from Sir Robert. Adopting Gloria as his daughter would be too dangerous. The Brante family's position is precarious enough as it is. You will not scheme to pressure your father or Stefan into this. Every word you make makes Gloria flinch as though she were struck by a lash. Her empty eyes wander the room, avoiding yours. Gloria, I shouldn't have opened up my heart to you. This is my predicament, mine alone. Good night, brother. You go back to your bedroom, craving the oblivion of sleep. But you keep tossing and turning restlessly, while your words compel Gloria to give up on her plan. I mean, I don't like seeing our relationship hurt like that, but at the same time, though, it's what we gotta do. The sun is setting on a cold, windy day as you return from the prefecture. To your surprise, a messenger awaits you at the door with an urgent letter from Sir Elborn. You open the letter. Augustine Elborn. Grant, there is an urgent case that I must entrust to you. We have just received a report of a secret society formed by young nobles. The Archduke's family may be involved. This concerns me. I suspect a possible plot to depose Overseer Tempest. Normally, the secret chancellery handles all such cases, but I'd rather investigate the rumors of the plot before there is any action. Preventing unnecessary bloodshed and disgrace would be prudent. You are to investigate this matter as soon as possible. The guards tracked down a suspicious nobleman by the name of Alexis L. Lance. Based on his confession, a meeting of this society will be held tonight. Unfortunately, this is all we're able to learn from him. The L. Lance family is of too high standing for more thorough questioning. Fortunately, all members of the secret society wear masks when attending meetings. We have acquired L. Lance's personal mask and will ensure that he is too late to the meeting. You should be able to impersonate him quite easily. You are to attend the meeting tonight and learn as much as possible about the secret society. This will allow us to foil a dangerous plot or to save many young people from the secret chancellery. The letter includes a delicate gilded mask of intricate workmanship. Fortunately, it fits your face perfectly. It seems your plan for tonight have changed. Following the prefecture's instructions, you come at the appointed hour to an inconspicuous mansion on the edge of Andesot with a spacious yard and a tall fence around it. The gatekeepers bow and open the gate as soon as they see you. It seems the mask is enough to convince them you belong inside. Inside the yard, you see noble carriages, many more than you had expected. You are ushered into a dressing room of sorts. A change of clothes already awaits you inside. It is a curious garb, a square of flowing, sparkling cloth, with clasps and cords to keep it from unwrapping. You have never seen anything like it. With the strange robe and the gilded mask over your normal clothes and face, you cannot help but feel rather silly. This attire feels positively unsuitable for any kind of plotting or scheming. Next, you proceed to a large room. The windows are covered in black cloth to keep prying eyes away, but you forget about it moments later. What seems to be a strange performance is playing out before your very eyes. You hear droning, unfamiliar music coming seemingly from nowhere. You see candlelight dancing and glimmering. Ribbons of gold and silver are hung along the walls as decorations, and there are people, many people, like you. They are dressed in flowing robes and delicate gilded masks with narrow slits for eyes. The people are talking. They stand unexpectedly close to one another, their hands on each other's shoulders. You approach one of the groups, hoping to overhear the subject of their conversation. But you almost recoil when several arms reach out at once, attempting to grasp you tenderly by the shoulder. Steeling yourself, you put a hand on another person's forearm. The masked people seem friendly and genial. No one appears surprised by your insecurity. And their conversations are also quite out of the ordinary. you hear unfamiliar names. Names that could belong to legendary heroes of old, or to the people here who have taken them as secret identities. You hear mentions of books you do not know, and emotions they felt while reading them. Their conversations felt like a strange dream. You hear several voices singing in a far-off corner of the room. There are no lyrics to the song. Each voice maintains its own note. Together, these voices form a tender, softly aching melody. It feels enrapturing. It spirits you away. You feel so distant now from the purpose of your visit. So withdrawn from the judge's trade. So far from the Empire and from your very self. A hand touches your shoulder, bringing you back to your senses. A pair of familiar eyes look at you intently from behind a glinting, greenish silver mask. They belong to Octavia. You pull back and bow to the Archduke's daughter. Octavia Melanides. I recognize the man behind this mask. I never expected to see you here today, my extraordinary human. But I must behave here. You best do the same. We are not alone. It would be best if we're not seen too close to one another. As for this place, Sir Brent, allow me to explain. This is my circle of La Tari. And before you ask, no, we do not plot, nor do we scheme. We have removed ourselves as far as possible from such machinations. This place is a little world of our own, a brief respite from tradition and noble customs and other such fuss. Our gathering is but a pretense, a game of make-believe. We pretend we are either nobles, nor citizens of the Blessed Empire, nor humans, nor Arcanians, but the La Tari. Do you know what this word means? I would not be surprised if you have never heard of the La Tari. These days, the people of La Tari are mentioned only in rare historical works. Long before us, in an age when this land was fertile and green, the La Tari lived upon the land that would become Magra. They were masters of a remarkable art. They could create worlds from nothing but their conscious minds. Many of these people come here for simple entertainment and a brief taste of freedom. Others seek a respite from the binding customs of the noble lot. Still others feel encumbered by their blood ties and ancestral obligations. Only here are we fully free from the burden of our past and our present. Yet some among us seek more than brief moments of freedom. They are drawn here by a fascination with the La Tari, and their idea that our entire existence can be shaped by the mind alone. We strive to know the La Tari people for ourselves. We strive to continue their teachings. We strive to become them. If we happen to master the art of shaping worlds from our minds, we may yet break free of the trap that is this harsh existence. Surprised by this, you ask your... sorry, I'm still in her voice. Surprised by this, you ask her why she is telling you this so openly. She knows that the rituals of extinct races are held in the same regard as magic, and punishable as such. In response to your question, Octavia suddenly takes off her golden mask, and reveals a slight smile on her once hidden face. Octavia Melanides. May your voice never speak words of deceit. To great shame lies the path of untruth. Where an Arcanian lies, where a human denies, La Tari speaks truthfully. Forsooth. I'm not afraid. The truth of the La Tari matters more to me than any persecution. You came here in secret and wearing a mask, which means the prefecture has taken an interest in my little gatherings. But I am confident you will describe this as an innocent club of young nobles and keep our fragile world from prying eyes and ears. Would you do this for me, Davvon Jr. Brante? These words, spoken by Octavia, sound more like an assertion than a question, but you are in no hurry to respond. Your thoughts are tangled, lost among the echoing voices, fluid motions, and transcendent music. This gathering is a violation of the law. This you cannot deny. All rituals of extinct races were banned at the foundation of the Empire. You may summon the guards here at any moment. You need only give a sign to the driver. And when they get here, the circle of La Tari will be gone in an instant. You'll prove to the city that not even the most noble of its denizens are above the law. But Octavia will never forgive you. You could, on the other hand, keep the circle of La Tari a secret from Melbourne, and report this meeting as a harmless gathering of young nobles looking for an opportunity to socialize. But if the secret chancellery ever takes interest in these meetings, you will be powerless. Someone has already reported Octavia's circle to the prefecture. There is a very good chance these reports will continue. Perhaps if you tell Octavia of the danger she is facing, she will disband the circle herself. There is one more way you could resolve this predicament. With a piece of paper, some ink, and a bit of skill, the Circle of La Tariq could become a noble historical society, one of many dozen in Anazat alone. Legitimized by the city, Octavia's gatherings would remain a secret within this mansion. But do you have enough influence to make this possible, and would it be wise to expend it in this way? Octavia Melendidus. Say something, Davvon Jr. This is no time to be quiet. The great mystery of La Tariq is about to begin. Well, we can't legitimize it or convince her. I don't care. Honestly, Octavia is kind of a B. And last time I kept their secret and I regretted it after I did it. So I'm going to ban them this time and see what happens. Octavia turns around and heads for center of the room, taking your silence for a sign of consent, but you rush ahead and stand in her way, your arms folded across your chest. You serve the prefecture and you do not condone any breach of the law. Ever since the Empire was founded, reenactment of any rituals of extinct races has been considered a sign of revolt against the crown. And, worse yet, the Circle seeks to reach the La Tariq, to flee the Empire, and to circumvent both worldly and divine law. The prefecture guards will arrive very soon and put an end to the meeting of the Circle. Noble or not, highborn or otherwise, the people hiding behind these gilded masks will have to answer to the law. Octavia is focused on you, the smile fading from her lips. Perfectly suppressed fury now burns in her dark green eyes. Turns to face the people in the room and raises her hand to call for their attention. Octavia Melendidus. Circle of La Tariq. Our meeting will have to end before it's time. There will be no mystery tonight. No Versailles judge seeks to disperse us. We shall see what we can do, or what they can do. You all know how to behave when dealing with the authorities. The guests exchange glances and nod knowingly. They begin taking off their La Tariq masks and robes. You now recognize many of them as the offspring of respectable noble families residing in Anazat. Octavia, meanwhile, turns to you. Octavia Melendidus. Clearly you realize that none of them will have faced a punishment, Judge. All you have done is shatter my circle and kill my creation. You saw so much, but you understood nothing. What a shame. But I should have expected nothing less from a human. Your duty is to serve. Now go away and serve whoever you like. I never want to see you again. Very soon, an entire platoon of well-armed guards surround the estate, but their belligerent attitude disappears as soon as they see the noble faces of the high-born progeny. They politely suggest that the noble ladies and gentlemen return to their homes and await further communication from the prefecture. You could expect nothing more. The high society of Anazat is abuzz the morning after. News of the dispersed secret society led by the Archduke's daughter spread like wildfire. The litigation at the prefecture, however, quickly comes to a standstill, thanks to the influence of many noble families and Archduke Melendidus himself. It is just as Octavia foresaw. Augustine Alborn. I hate to say it, Brante, but I cannot take on every powerful noble family in the city at once. I had to deliver the verdict myself and say the society had performed no forbidden rituals. None of them will be punished. But you've managed to disperse their so-called circle, at the very least. The common folk will now see we aren't going to let the younger nobles break the law. Oof! The age of equality under the new law still remains distant, but thanks to you, justice has taken one step forward in Anazat. Hey, we got our justice point. Does this help our reputation? No! Okay, real talk. Part of the reason I wanted to break up the whole ban is I thought that it might help our reputation. Eloquence +1, theology +1. Okay, whatever. Year 1142, peacetime, 25 years of age. The mark of a dishonor. Well, I guess our family has fallen apart. The mark of dishonor. Recent. Sorry about that. I have my headphones off when listening to this because I feel like I want to be able to hear myself when I read, and I thought there was like music or something going on at the beginning of that, and I like to be quiet when they add their sound effects, and I couldn't hear. I apologize. Recent events have dealt a crushing blow to the reputation of the Brante family. You have slipped into the realm of infamy and disgrace. So far, the noble families of the city have patiently endured your transgressions, but now you have lost face in their eyes. Noble society is eager to bring your every dusty scandal back into the light. Old offenses, ancient grievances, and naturally, Father's marriage to Lydia Brant and Gloria's and noble origins. Ancient grievances. I can't say that. Ancient grievances. Ancient grievances. I apologize. And they have surely not forgotten that the sons of Robert and Lydia Brant, Davvon Jr. and Nathan, were born out of wedlock. None of the nobles will ever say this to your face, of course. Their behavior will seem perfectly ordinary on the surface. But no matter where you go now, you'll be followed by scornful glances and dismissive whispers. Robert Brant. We have to accept this and humbly bear the burden. All hope of being ennobled by the sword is lost. No matter what we do to restore our name, we will never wash away this mark of dishonor. Wealth -1, unity -1. Ripperoo. We are branded by dishonor. So that means... Hold up. Does that mean the family has fallen apart? Year 1143. The last straw. Rumors are running wild in Anazat. People say that a mysterious clandestine society called the Last Straw holds the entirety of the citizens' seedy underbelly in its clutches, with men in safe houses all over Anazat, plotting and scheming against the nobles and the rulers of the province. Their leader is a woman, a ruthless criminal by the name of Sophia. She has evaded all attempts at capture. The common people fear both the Last Straw and sympathize with their cause. If the rumors are true, the city finally has someone who will stop at nothing to help the people claim their rights. But who would support this secret organization, and how did the insurgents manage to survive this long? No one in the city knows the answers. Magistrate L. Vermin must assuage the people's fears once again. Remy L. Vermin, the vile mutineers and heretics who call themselves the Last Straw, will be caught and executed very soon. And anyone who's given them money and shelter will meet the same fate. The secret chancellery will make sure of that. But even facing a manhunt, the Last Straw still endures. Slowly but surely, the influence of this underground organization is spreading throughout the city. Order +1, power +1, wealth of Magar -1. Everything's kind of in like no man's neutral land right now. Threats and promises. You are in the middle of ascending the city hall's long, curved marble staircase, a small man beneath the building's towering vault. Oh, excuse me. You were suddenly visited that night by messengers from Magistrate L. Vermin. They insisted the reason was most urgent. You are already expected upstairs. There is deafening silence in the lavishly decorated corridors, your footsteps the only noise you can hear. Finally, you entered the spacious room that is the office of L. Vermin, a stately official of considerable age. You find him sitting in his comfortable chair of carved wood. He acknowledges your presence with a nod. However, the magistrate is not alone. By the window of the office stands a tall Archnean. The cape of the Imperial Legion covers his shoulders. He is Dorius Otten, the commander of Magra in the flesh. He does not even bother to turn around and look at you. The magistrate gestures to you formally, beckoning you closer. Remy L. Vermin. Judge Brant, you have come at last. Sir Otten has been eagerly awaiting your arrival. You see, the commander has learned about a litigation being prepared against him at the prefecture. He demanded that an end be put to these machinations at once, and I humbly offered him my assistance. Slowly, Otten turns to face you. He eyes you with cold contempt. Dorius Otten. Brant, you again. So you've been chosen to oversee this so-called case against me. I don't envy you. I will be brief. I will not stand idly by in the face of slander and baseless accusations. Give me your word of honor as a nobleman that you will do everything in your power to put a stop to this litigation. Only then will you be free to leave. I will treat you and any other answer as an insult against my noble lineage, and let it be known that Sir L. Vermin holds my positions, such as the chairman's seat at the Court of Honor, which means that any insult will be soon followed by a legitimate duel of honor. I'm sure you know full well how well others have fared in duels against me. Otten turns toward the window before you say anything, as if your answer has already been heard. Magistrate Elverman watches Otten and you silently with a mysterious smirk. You stand before the two lords of the city, a young man only recently ennobled by the mantle. Any word that leaves your lips now will affect your fate. Retaliate against Otten. If Otten challenges you to a duel, a lesser death is certain. Any attempt to avoid it will only delay the inevitable. So it would be best to confront him now. And so, head held high, you place your hand on the hilt of your sword and take a step closer to Otten. Next come the words, your words, echoing loudly in the stunned silence of the city hall. Indeed, you are the judge in charge of Otten's case. You will see it through to the very end. Your duty and your honor demand that you serve the Empire and enforce its laws, which apply to all its subjects. Yes, Otten will surely defeat you in a sacred duel, but the evidence you have gathered against him will see the light nevertheless. You are far from the only judge ready to challenge even the most powerful nobles of the province in the name of the law, and no matter what, justice will find Otten and strike him down. Otten is stunned by your verbal assault. For a moment, he remains motionless by the window, his face an azure mask. Slowly, the commander of Magra walks towards you, his heavy, piercing gaze transfixing you. Dorius Otten, you, human, dare to threaten me? You calmly meet his eyes in total silence. Then suddenly, a grimace of rage splits the Archaean's face. His sword flashes like lightning. You barely have time to draw your own blade. The clanging of swords cuts through the stunned silence of the city hall. Otten lets out a torrent of strikes in an attempt to overwhelm you. Again and again, you barely deflect them. The Archaean's command of the blade is impeccable. You cannot possibly stand your ground against him for long. You cannot find even a single opening to strike back, as Otten's fierce assault drives you towards the window. A commanding voice calls out from the other side of the room. Remy Elverman. Sir Otten, what do you think you're doing? For a moment, Otten stops. This is your chance. You prepare to strike him down as quickly as you can. But the commander of Magra notices your movement. He steps to the side and runs you through with his sword. A cold wave washes over you as the steel enters the body. You slowly collapse onto the marble floor and barely able to move. Otten stands tall over you, panting with rage. Remy Elverman. Sir Otten, what have you done? This is no honorable noble duel. It is a murder in the city, in the heart of the city hall, in front of the chairman of the court of honor, no less. I insist that you leave Brante alone from now on. One death is enough for him. Having caught his breath, Otten slowly wipes his sword and sheathes it again. Dorius Otten. You forget yourself, Elverman. You're as much a human as he. Still, what you say makes sense. This judge doesn't deserve my wrath. But if he ever tries to tarnish the name of Otten again, you lie prone at the feet of your murderer, your hands clutching at the wound in your chest, a tiny speck of red on your white dress shirt. Black clouds your vision. Your final thoughts freeze and slowly disintegrate as you leave your dead body and head for the glimmering white, high above. Second death. Impenetrable darkness surrounds you. You stand alone, bare to your very essence. It paralyzes you. You have an urge to cover yourself, to hide. No one should see you so vulnerable. But you cannot conceal the truth in this place. You're bathed in an unbearably bright light. It has no hint of warmth in it. It is blinding. It leaves no shadows in the entire world. It is the light of the shining pillar itself. In this radiance, you can clearly see all your thoughts and doubts, your errors and transgressions, the contradictions that have permeated you since birth. They cover you from head to toe, like rough, gray tatters. But they melt away in this light. You are naked. You feel liberated and whole. It is as though all the wounds and cracks in your soul have been healed, making it the way it should be. It is as though the scales have fallen from your eyes. You see the true shapes of things now. These are the laws by which the world abides, the grand design that moves life itself. You tread a path that is barely visible in the blinding light, giving shape to everything. In this light, you see the infinite complexity of the world, from the tiniest leaf to the enormity of the empire. And this world maintains its balance by virtue of the law, and that was embedded in it during the act of creation. Ahead of you, two figures are waiting on the path. They are gigantic, many times taller than a man. The elder holds a lash, the younger, a sword. The younger gazes at you, sternly, coldly. You kneel obediently before him and lower your head. The god raises his sword above you. This is divine retribution. There is no law without it, nor can there be. Every action has consequence. This is what shapes the world, making its very existence possible. In this moment, beneath the gaze of the merciless God, you comprehend the law that binds the entire world together. Which manifestation of the law and will you... Manifestation of the law and will... let me reread this correctly. Which manifestation of the law will you live by? I don't know why they added in there. Yourself. I'm always going to be selfish. The blade flashes. The younger sword slashes through the air above your head. You do not yet deserve your final punishment. The law demands that you continue your life. Your form has not yet been completely destroyed, nor has that of the world. The younger extends his gigantic hand and shows you the way. You must proceed. The path leads you to the top of the crown of the silver tree, spread wide in the white gleam. The branches are close now. It is time to descend. You are drawn downward into darkness. The shadows that had disappeared in the blinding glow creep around you and envelop you. This is to be expected, but the purity and clarity of spirit are still with you. Something is forcing your throat open. Air. It scratches you on the inside. Your soul is filled with struggle again, with the contradictions from which the fabric of this world and you yourself are woven. The divine light that gave you clarity is fading away with each passing moment. You have to open your eyes. Above you is the dark ceiling of the crypt. You are reborn. We have officially made it past where we were before. I am going to continue a little bit here, but we have officially made it to the point where we finished the last playthrough. Oh, excuse me, playthrough? I think I might be getting hiccups. Hold up. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read through what we have here, okay? For those of you who have been listening to this point follow through, I greatly, deeply appreciate y'all. What I'm going to do is, since I have to start the Arkham Horror series on Tuesday, with the new game coming out, I would like to finish this playthrough by then. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be live on YouTube on, well, not on, tomorrow. I will go live, and what I'm going to do is we're going to do a live playthrough for the rest of the game. We're going to do it all in one sitting. Hopefully it's not like a 2.5 hour chapter. I doubt it is. I think post Peacetime is a lot shorter. I don't know how much is left of Peacetime right now. But we're going to do it all one sitting, one go. I'm going to bring a big old jug of water with me. We're all going to sit down tomorrow. Well, I'm going to sit down tomorrow. And we're going to finish out this game so that way it's all completed going into Horror's Embrace. And then I will re-upload that as a standalone, possibly as a VOD. That way it's not underneath the live tab. Either way, that's the plan. I think that's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Hopefully it's not much longer than 3 or 4 more hours. Maybe my daughter will come over and say hello while we're there as well. Either way, let's continue. You come to your senses atop the stone slab of your family crypt. For a while, you do not move, slowly getting acquainted with your body born anew. Your mother's somber silhouette stands above you, bowed in prayer. You hear her quiet, meek voice, just as you did as a child. Lydia Brante. Davvon, at last you're back with us, Davvon Jr. My son, it pains so much to watch you sacrifice yourself, all for the sake of your trade and your honor. You have 4 lives in this world by the twins' grace, each a precious gift. You've cast away the lowly lot of suffering, so I beg you, do not seek it anew. Steer clear of pain and wounds and death. Your father appears in the doorway of the crypt. He comes closer and bows to you, respectfully. Robert Brante. Son, the entire city is talking about you and your sword fight with Auden. Even the highest aristocracy believes the commander of Magra deserves all the blame for assaulting you without challenging you to a duel. While you acted like a true nobleman and defended the honor of the Brante name, you suffered a lesser death through no fault of your own. You leave the family crypt with a heavy heart. You have resisted Auden. He will not be clashing with you directly anytime soon, but his sword will continue to loom over you until his case comes to an end. Valor, +1, woohoo! I wonder if we hit 20 if we can kill him in a duel. All right, so where are we at right now? Nobleman's honor. Give me 1 sec. So let's see what our destinies have in store. Family outcomes. The family falls apart. So I'm assuming that we have officially fallen apart as a family because we can't do any of the rest of these. So we are branded by dishonor, which means Gloria Brant. Can I not do this? Where's family at peace? The family at peace. Okay, so I can still do the family at peace. I can still unite the family, I believe. I believe that I can still unite the family. I think that is still an option. So we're going to continue just a little bit. That is my goal for the family. I would like to make Gloria Brant. I would like to unite the family, and then I would like to also put Gloria Auden, or let the commoners take over. Actually, House of Brant family. Stefan 0. Okay, hold on. Destiny. Family of Means. Mother recovers. Gloria Brant, which we need. Family at peace. Unite the family. I want to know where unite the family is. Have I already done it? I don't think I've done it yet. What is unite the family? Maybe it's a thing I haven't come up to yet. Nobleman's honor. Auden's case still looms over you, a burden and a threat. As the strife between the estates grow more bitter, the judge's trade grows tougher by the day. The commoners demand more rights and legal protections. The nobles do their best to push back. As things stand right now, any verdict made in court may result in upheaval in the province, and possibly determine the outcome of your case against Auden. One day in a park by the Falez estate favored by dueling Anazon nobles, you see a curly-haired young man lying prone in a small sunlit square. His body has been pierced by a sword, and it has not vanished, a true death. You are here to investigate a report of an illegal duel. The winner is still here. A slender, middle-aged noble in an elegant black jacket, his hand still on the hilt of his sword, surrounded by guards. Captain Lenad. Your orders, Your Honor? Sir El Corvio will not submit on his own, and we wouldn't dare use force against him. You signed for the guards to lower their weapons and approach the duelist. El Corvio's eyes widen and his face comes to life when he notices you. Before you can ask him, the nobleman begins to speak, far louder than necessary. Alan El Corvio. It was a duel, sanctioned by the Court of Honor. That is all. The late Sir Estate questioned my loyalty to the Empire and called me an apostate. He left me no other choice but to defend my honor, and now he's dead. Please be quick with your verdict, Sir Judge. I'm expected at the capital. You do not know who I am, do you? Before you can say a single word, a carriage bearing the crest of Magistrate Elverman rolls through the gate. The magistrate furrows his silvery brow as he looks at the sorrowful scene, then gestures politely for El Corvio to approach his carriage. With a chuckle, the duelist walks through the line of guards and leans on the carriage. Meanwhile, the magistrate takes you aside for a moment. Remy Elverman. Brant, as you know, I am the chairman of our city's Court of Honor. I refused to sanction this duel for as long as I could, since true death was on the line. But Alan El Corvio insisted that denying him would spell trouble for the city of Anazot. Regrettably, he's a small yet important person in the Emperor's court. He used to command the Emperor's personal guard. I realize that you must mete out justice as your duty demands, but remember, duels of honor are one of the cornerstones of imperial tradition, one of the pillars that support the twins' divine vision for the Empire. You have the authority to punish El Corvio, but be careful. He might make a dangerous enemy, both for yourself and for all the nobles of Anazot. That fool, El Estate, didn't know this, and now he's lying there before us. We would be wise not to repeat his mistake. The magistrate of Anazot glances around, then continues in a hushed tone. Remy Elverman. Brant, this is a situation is far from ordinary. If the fate of your city means anything to you, it would be best to let El Corvio go without a trial. Anazot doesn't need any trouble from the capital, and the El Estes are not as strong as they used to be. They'll get through it. You may fine him if you wish. El Corvio will pay it and move on, and justice will be done. At least to some extent. However, if you can defuse the matter entirely, you'll earn favor with all the aristocracy of Anazot, and I'll personally see to it you get a swift promotion. Deep in thought, you gaze upon the body of the dead duelist in the long shadow of El Corvio. The decision you're about to make could influence all future duels in the province, as well as your own standing. Do we find him, or do we... We're gonna use Octavia, because I feel like my time with Octavia is starting to run short. We're gonna sentence him. Because, screw you, buddy! Nobleman's honor. You shake your head dispassionately. Enunciating every word with perfect precision, you explain the situation to Elverman. A murder in a duel is still a murder, and the punishment for murder is execution. You do not have the right to distort the law. The magistrate's face falls in surprise. Remy Elverman, Brante, you do not seem to realize how this world works. I just told you El Corvio plays an important role in the Emperor's court. Are you really so eager to make enemies? Well, you're about to. No connections will protect you if you're so intent upon trampling ancient noble traditions. It seems Elverman is not aware that you have friends in very high places. You tell him in turn. The Archduke's family will readily side with you. The magistrate dashes to El Corvio, fuming with rage at your words. Remy Elverman. Sir El Corvio, this is a terrible misunderstanding. I'll do everything I can to right this wrong, but these good sirs mean to have you arrested. You give the guards a firm order. Seize the murderer's sword, shackle him, and take him to the prefecture. Alain El Corvio, you dare call me a murderer? Does anyone in your filthy, decrepit province know the meaning of a duel? El Corvio draws his sword and assumes a defensive stance, startling the guards with such a fervent refusal to comply. You start giving commands to the guards. Following your orders, they can manage to surround and disarm El Corvio. You head for the prefecture to take care of the paperwork and send a message to Octavia. You ask your powerful benefactress to convince the aristocracy to side with you in ordering the death penalty for El Corvio. He is a complete outsider in Magra, you write, who happened to murder the heir to the ancient bloodline of El Este. Surely, Octavia can aid her humble servant in such a trifling matter. Her reply takes almost no time to arrive. Octavia Melanides. El Corvio is a staunch follower of the Tempest and the new overseer. This puts him at great odds with my father. Removing him will be easy, especially if you have a proper case against him. Rest assured, Davvon Jr., the Melanides dynasty will side with you in this trial. As for the other nobles, have no fear. I will let no harm come to you, my dearest human. El Corvio's trial comes and goes incredibly fast. The seats in the courtroom are absolutely empty. No noble risks appearing in defense of the visitor from Eterna and attracting the displeasure of Archduke Melanides. One by one, you present evidence of El Corvio's guilt. The ill-fated noble visitor coldly spits out threats in return. The Board of Justice, presided over by Elborn, makes its final judgment. Augustine Elborn. Sending a noble to the hereafter is never easy, but there are times when the court has no other way to instill respect for imperial law among those of the noble estate. Sir El Corvo, we hereby sentence you to true death by decapitation. The sentence will be carried out in Majesty Square tomorrow. El Corvio is silent, unwilling to believe what has just happened. But the verdict has been made. El Corvio is taken to the dungeon, the shackles still on his wrist. Tomorrow, the city of Anazot will, for the first time, witness a noble being executed for a duel. The aristocracy of Anazot is indignant over your decision. They fear what might come next. And yet, El Corvio's shameful end on the executioner's block goes seemingly unnoticed in the capital. Soon, rumors begin to spread. Some say the beheaded nobleman was indeed a traitor to the crown. Why else would the Emperor's court ignore the beheading entirely? Or was it all the handiwork of Archduke Melanides himself? Soon after the execution, something arrives on your doorstep. A small yet hefty chest with a note attached. Sir Brant, we realize how difficult it must have been for you to deliver this strict yet righteous verdict. We mourn the loss of our son, who transgressed against the law forbidding all duels. Yet, justice has found his murderer thanks to you. Please accept this humble gift as a token of our gratitude. Sir Constance L. Este and Lady Margaret L. Este. So our career is back in dangerous position. Wealth +1. We can't lose our career at this spot. We need to take Auden to task. The hunt for Tomas. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Tomas not rescued. What? I'm confused. The hunt for Tomas. You are shaving before going to work. You scoop some warm water from the wash basin. The morning light, reflected in the mirror, is blinding. A servant rushes in with an urgent letter, or rather, a crumpled note. He says it is from a childhood friend of yours. You flinch involuntarily. A nasty cut appears on your cheek. Tomas Guerrero. Davvon Jr., I'm in trouble. Auden knows that I helped you. Now he's finally decided to get rid of me. His henchmen are on my trail already. They'll find me no matter how well I hide. I'm out of time, Brante. If you can, for the sake of our friendship, help me out of this mess somehow. If Auden finds me, I'll be off to the Shining Pillar. I'm all out of lives. Your friend, Tomas. You crush the note in your hands. A drop of blood runs down your cheek. Your old friend is in danger because he helped you with the case against Auden. If you don't interfere, Tomas Guerrero is doomed. You immediately come to your friend's aid. You eliminate Auden's henchmen. We're gonna protect him. We have one more life to give. You failed to protect Tomas from Auden's revenge last time. You will not fail him again. You crumple up the note, pick up your sword, and rush to help your friend. You know where Tomas has been trying to hide recently. The ruined palace of Charmalandidus, where you used to play as children. You get there just in time. You hear a familiar voice coming from the ruins of an ancient bathhouse. Tomas Guerrero. Quit hiding, you bastards! You won't take me without spilling some of your own. You follow the cry. In the middle of the old bathhouse, you see Tomas. Dirty, his hair overgrown, a sword clutched in his hand. 5 men, inconspicuously dressed in coarse clothing, and wielding various weapons, are slowly closing in on him. They all freeze, stunned by your unexpected appearance. Tomas Guerrero. What took you so long, Brante? You hear intense joy in his voice. You rush to Tomas' side. Back to back, you start to fight. You are more skilled than Auden's henchmen, but they outnumber you. You do not let them surround you, but the fight is still a tough one. You succeed in wounding one of the enemies in the leg and force him to drop out of the battle. But another huge bruiser comes in swinging a club wildly, and all you can do is dodge. You are quickly becoming exhausted. Tomas keeps pace with you. He performs a masterful counterattack against one of the enemies and skewers him with his sword. Unfortunately, his weapon becomes stuck in the enemy's body. He will not be able to dodge the other assailant. With a swift turn, you put yourself in line of fire and catch the blade with your glove. You steer the tip away from Tomas, then run the sword through the thug's stomach with a quick thrust. But your triumph is short-lived. You momentarily lose track of the big fellow and he lands a heavy blow on your back. Your ribs crack. You are thrown several feet away. The thug swings the bloodied club again, but Tomas hurries to help you. Tomas Guerrero. Die, you bastard! Everything turns red. You lie motionless and listen as the fight continues until several shrieks of agony announce that it is over. Tomas leans over you. An incongruous smile flickers across his face. Tomas Guerrero. Hey, Brante, I asked you to help, not to die in my place. The old friend's stupid joke is the last thing you hear. Tomas's face, and then the rest of the world dissolves into a white light. My god, we died 3 times in this one playthrough. Oh my god! Their death. You are surrounded by an immense gray void. There is nothing but shadows around you, the specters of your decisions, the spawn of your personal will. You see before all your victories and defeats, all your errors and hopes. Another shadow comes to life by your side. As you gaze at these elusive moving silhouettes, you recognize your last action. This is the death you chose to face, knowing what fate was to befall you. This is the decision you made. The shadows keep spinning and dancing around you, the footsteps of every step you have taken since the day you were born. A colossal figure looms over them all, your future, true death. You can no longer deny its imminence. Imminence. It has always been there, waiting for you. Now you are only one step away from it, but you will take this step yourself. The familiar gigantic figure of the twin gods appear from the void to meet you. They effortlessly lift your tiny soul and hold it in their hands. You have always been in the twin god's hand. Their will created you. The elder god the elder did not grant you his love, he forced it into you. The younger shaped you according to his law without giving you a choice. An enormous whirlwind arises in the void. The twin gods release you into it, and the torrent of unfathomable will whisks you away. You are merely a minuscule particle of this universal tide. This will is the sole determiner of all events, past, present, and future. Your puny actions and choices are nothing in the face of the force this torrent harbors. You whirl in the cosmic vortex of the twin god's will until it casts you out. You careen back down to your earthly life. It is only now that you regain your ability to act. You see all the wills of the universe, intertwined in a perpetual struggle against one another. Which will you follow? Your own will. You fall into an endless web, formed by the wills of the mortal world. Now that you are free of the cosmic vortex, you can finally exert your own will and make a choice. It feels like a first gasp of air after being suffocated by an alien will. Will of the gods. But for your chosen will to be incarnated here in the world, one decision is not enough. You'll have to follow this path to its conclusion, to turn this will into reality by way of your decisions, deeds, and actions. Your eyes snap open, and you sit up abruptly. The crypt is spinning around you. The stagnant stench chokes you. You got out. You succeeded in preserving yourself against the whirlwind that was tearing you asunder. The will of the twin gods that commanded you to continue your existence. You feel the urge to fall flat on your back and cackle madly. You are back. Guys, I am not going to lie to you. I'm scared. I don't know what to do. I should have probably bribed the guards, but I was worried that if I tried to bribe the guards, that the guards might turn on me simply by extension of them not wanting to go against like the Arcanians. That's why I didn't want to bribe the Arcs. I didn't want to try to bribe the guards and then find out that they didn't actually help Tomas, and that they actually turned against me or helped him because of the Arcanian attachment to Aten. You awaken in the crypt. No one is there to meet you. It is quite possible that no one knows about your death. The place smells of damp earth. The battle in the abandoned palace of Charmalandus is the talk of the city for several days. Your name somehow comes up. Commander Aten does not openly accuse you. If he did, he would have to explain what his men were doing there. But his schemes make it much more difficult for your brother Stefan to have the Brante family ennobled by the sword. Tomas fled right after the fight. We can't get ennobled anyway. It takes quite some time for you to get any news from him. Tomas Guerrero. Davvon Jr., as soon as we fought off those thugs, I decided to go in hiding somewhere far away from Anazat. Without his spies, Aten seems to have lost my trail, and it's all thanks to you. I'm in your eternal debt, Brante. I hope you take down that bastard and put an end to his crimes once and for all. We'll meet again. Your friend, Tomas. Wait. What? Okay, so our valor is +1, our willpower -. We've died 3 times, though, in this one. Oof. I don't know how. This might be our last episode. Let's see if I die at the end of this one. This is the last part that I'm going to read, that I'm off. El Pharaoh's list. You spend day after day hard at work toiling over Aten's case, but something far more urgent demands the prefecture's attention today. The city is in chaos. There was an explosion in the square in front of the city hall. Someone threw a bomb at Magistrate Remy El Verman's carriage. The assassination attempt failed. The magistrate was not inside the carriage at the time. He was unharmed, although his servants and driver did not fare so well. Even in your office, you can still smell the acrid smoke from the blast. The guards react quickly. 5 suspects, craftsmen and factory workers alike, were brought to the prefecture before sunset. They are accused of joining the Last Straw, a secret society of insurgents seeking to overthrow imperial rule. The society is in its way to becoming the talk of the city. Rumor has it their leader is an enigmatic woman, a tough criminal by the name of Sophia. Hey, I've heard that name before. The 5 suspects deny their involvement, but a number of eyewitnesses saw them walking toward the square, and some of them still have traces of gunpowder on their fingers. Judge Carlo Falcagraben has taken the case. The trial will be mercilessly swift. The 5 are to be hanged tomorrow morning. The sun begins to set. You're about to leave her home when you hear heavy footsteps in the hallway. A stranger enters your office. He is pale, with chiseled features, a furrowed brow, a thick, black mustache, and dark eyes watching you intently from deep within their sockets. He presents you with a gilded pendant in the shape of a wheel. Felipe El Ferro. Baron Felipe El Ferro, Secret Chancellery Advisor. I imagine you're well aware that we deal with plots, schemes, and revolts against the Empire. I have a matter of great importance to the Empire to discuss with you, Sir Brent. I am aware that the case of the explosion in the square was not assigned to you, but for our purposes, this is actually for the best. The Secret Chancellery has been following this so-called Last Straw group for a long time now. They're the greatest threat to the peace in Anazot, but you can help us get rid of the rid the city of this menace. Baron Elfaro produces a neatly folded sheet of paper. Felipe Elfaro. This is a list of known insurgents connected to the Last Straw. They haven't blown anyone up just yet, but surely you would realize that it would be most prudent to wait for them to commit their next crime. The time to act is now. You scan the list quickly. Some of the names on it seem somewhat familiar, perhaps from your youth. This is where I start stumbling over my words a lot more because we're getting towards the end, and like it seems like I found like an hour cutoff time is where my voice and my ability to read start to slip. Felipe Elfaro. Find a way, any way to implicate them in today's assassination attempt, and you will prevent more explosions in the future. The Empire will rest easy if we can rid ourselves of the scum as quickly as possible. If you render this service to the Secret Chancellery, you may rely on my assistance in the future. As you may suspect, I have more than my fair share of powerful connections. Silence falls. The Secret Chancellery Advisor pierces you with his heavy gaze. I am going to protect the people on this list. Because I have one life to give, and I feel like I'm not going to make it to the end of this game again. You rise from your chair and offer the advisor a curt response. No, you will not serve the Secret Chancellery. You serve the law, and you will never break it, no matter what you might stand to gain. You will not falsify a case, and you will not hang people on unproven charges. Baron Elfaro's face remains dispassionate as ever. His voice, however, loses all warmth. He stands up as well and steps towards you menacingly. Felipe Elfaro. I believe you misunderstand me, Brante. This is not a request. It is an order. You dryly ask the advisor to leave your office. No matter who gives the orders, if they are at odds with the law, you will refuse to follow them. Felipe Elfaro. You actually seem to be looking for trouble, Sir Davvon de Brante. Very well. If it's trouble you want, then trouble you shall have. Baron Elfaro leaves without saying goodbye. The moment he is gone from your office, you grab a quill pen and write down the names from a list while they are still fresh in your memory. Next, you summon the guards and tell them that an unlawful attack is planned against these people tonight. The guards receive your orders. Tonight they will stand watch at the homes of Sir Elfaro's suspects. After nightfall, covered wagons arrive at the same homes, and nondescript cloaked men head for the doors. But the guards bar their way, as ordered. The Secret Chancellery's minions are furious, but you appear before them next. All the residents of these buildings are under the prefecture's protection. The worried commoners watch the events unfold behind their windows. The Secret Chancellery has no choice but to fall back. The covered wagons disappear into the darkness. You keep watch until dawn. In the early morning, an emergency court sentences the 5 suspects arrested in the square to true death for attempted rebellion against the crown. Soon their bodies are dangling from the gallows in the same square in which their crimes were committed. People say the gallows would have claimed more than 5 lives today had the prefecture not protected those whose guilt remained unproven. Were the people from Sir Elfaro's list involved in the attack? No one will never know. They all take advantage of the Secret Chancellery's helpless retreat and flee Anazot immediately. A week passes. The prefecture receives orders from the capital. The Secret Chancellery is to investigate the loyalty of every judge in Anazot and weed out any traitors. The judges are questioned and their cases are seized for further study. 2 of your fellow judges disappear without a trace. No one dares to inquire about their fate. Helpless and furious, the judges have no choice but to grit their teeth and bear it. Carlo Fockegraben. Why did you have to take on the Secret Chancellery, Brante? Don't you know we're all hanging by a thread now? My gosh, man. In the meantime, strange, unsettling rumors begin to circulate. Your sister Gloria is accused of helping the Last Straw and the people who prepared the explosions, but no one can prove these allegations. These events take a great toll on your mental and physical well-being. Over dinner, you tell your family how you refused the Secret Chancellery and what happened next. Robert Brante. That's the Secret Chancellery for you, son. They cannot strike us directly, but they can act from the shadows. No judge or honorable noble should ever follow their orders. I'm proud that you refused them. The false rumors will die down sooner or later. but your honor will remain your own. Gloria. I'm pleased too, brother. These people would label anyone an insurgent just to curry favor. I'm glad you kept those innocent people safe. Your family's assurances bring some relief. The false rumors have tarnished your family's honor, but together you weathered the storm. Justice is at 10, but our career is ruined. Our reputation is already 0, so I don't give any Fs. But our unity +1. Valor, we are 1 off 20. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Willpower 15. Let it be known that I was not a bitch at the end of my lives. Invitation to the ball. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Career equals 0. Let's see what happens. I'm curious. This has to be the last spot though. I have to work in 5 hours and I have to get this uploaded yet tonight, which is going to take another 2 hours. So, oof. Invitation to the ball. Your last ruling cost you dearly. The nobility of Anazat demands that you vacate your position as a judge. You have made many enemies during your tenure at the prefecture. Prefect Elborn uses all his resources to curb the attacks. It is only by virtue of his protection that you remain a judge, but your career is hanging by a thread. One misstep and you will lose your position, if not your noble rank. Night is slowly falling upon Anazat. You examine yourself in the mirror. You are dressed in your best doublet. Every crease carefully ironed. Your sword rests in a luxurious sheath. This night is of the utmost importance. The door to your room opens. Stefan is immaculately dressed, as always. But tonight, you are on par with him. Stefan Brante. Looking good, Davvon Jr. Let's go, our carriage is waiting. You leave together to attend a noble ball. Stefan patronizingly continues the speech he began at home. Stefan Brante. Please understand, brother. The nobles of Anazat already have an axe to grind with you. It'd be fine if it only concerned your work, but now they're casting aspirations on the entire Brante family. The fact that I managed to persuade El Laberius to invite us to the ball is a sheer miracle. He's from the entourage of Archduke Melanidas and the leader of the noble militia. I beg you, Davvon Jr., swallow your pride and show El Laberius that you're actually someone he can work with. If you please him, you'll save your position. You solemnly tell your brother that you will do your utmost. The ball is being held in a glorious mansion within half an hour's ride of Anazat. The house is built in the old Arcanian style, like many of the homes you have seen on the outskirts of Verterna. The mansion is surrounded by a hedgerow, an extraordinary luxury in the desiccated province of Magra. You hear the sound of music from the backyard and smell the scent of flowers. Servants obligingly escort you to the estate. The doors to the garden open, but you behold no dancing couples or buffet. Where you had expected a ball, you see only a few violin players. Upon seeing you, they hastily lift their bows from their strings. In the middle of the garden is a table set for dinner, and in the only occupied seat you see the master of the house, an elderly nobleman. Despite his advanced age, I have to sneeze. Or maybe I don't. I don't know. Is he coming? Hold on. His posture and movements are those of a hardened warrior. His face bears an expression of tired serenity and slight melancholy. Friedrich L. Liberius. At last, the guests of honor have arrived. Brante brothers, we welcome to my humble abode. Please have a seat. You see several armed men approaching you in the semi-darkness. Are they knights from the noble militia? You glance at Stefan. He does not look the least bit surprised by this turn of events. He answers your silent question. Stefan Brante. Yes, I knew there was no ball, but your actions have left me no other option, Judge Brante. This is for the good of our entire family. Before you get angry, listen to what Sir El Liberius has to say. Carefully looking around you, you sit down at the table. The master of the house smirks and sips from his glass. Friedrich L. Liberius. Well, Sir Davvon Jr. Brante, I speak on behalf of all the noble families of the city. May I assume you understand the degree to which you have enraged noble society? You have inflicted numerous wounds upon the nobility of Anazat, too many to list, but we do not wish to confine the honor or the young Brante family to contempt and dishonor. Tomorrow morning you will publicly declare that all your rulings against the nobles have been based on false evidence, that the prefecture has annulled them. Thereafter the noble families will take mercy on you. Have we come to an understanding, Davvon Jr.? El Liberius folds his arms across his chest. Your brother shoots you impatient glances. Come on, Davvon Jr., agree. The militiamen in the shadows tighten their grips on their swords. The future of your career and your family is at stake, as well as your life. Yeah. Challenge me to a duel. Well, this is it. This duel could spell the very end of this playthrough, and there might not even be a stream tomorrow because this could be the end of the gameplay. Let's find out what happens. Here we go. You rise slowly, your hand on your sword. Your voice is polite and confident. You suggest another way to wash away this insult. El Liberius represents the noble families that you have allegedly wronged. Is he prepared to settle dispute in a noble duel to the lesser death? El Liberius sighs wearily and gestures to a servant to pour him more wine. The Friedrich El Liberius, you've chosen a fine time to remember our noble traditions, Sir Brant, now that your own honor is threatened. Your brother springs to his feet. Stefan Brant, what's wrong with you, Davvon Jr.? Sal El Liberius has offered you a helping hand and you're going to fight him? El Liberius rises. He limps slightly, but is clear from his build and bearing that he is a seasoned fighter. Frederick El Liberius. Never mind, Stefan. Your brother has decided that this is a matter of honor. For the first time, he has chosen the side of our noble traditions. If this is the way you want to settle our dispute, so be it. I've never fled from a fight. I hope you have more than one life left, Davvon Jr. Give me my sword and play something. The violins play. Stefan and the noblemen of the militia silently watch from the beginning of the fight. Step by step, your weapons drawn. You come closer to one another. El Liberius drags his foot slightly. This is your chance. You enter the fight with a series of rapid strikes. This is no time for elegance. You need to push him off balance by sheer force. You have to admit that despite his old age, El Liberius is a splendid swordsman. He firmly blocks each of your lunges. You make a powerful attack, and it nearly ends up being your last one, when the dexterous old man makes a sudden riposte, hitting your sword with great force. But your chosen strategy gradually begins to pay off. Soon, El Liberius, forced to retreat, takes too wide a step back, and finally loses his balance. With a heavy slashing blow, you knock the sword from his hand. You continue the movement, and your blade slides right into your opponent's chest. The old nobleman staggers and passes his hand over the wound. When he feels the blood, El Liberius chuckles and falls flat on his back. His body dissipates almost immediately. This was not what was not the nobleman's last life. The violins fall silent. The witness to your duel exchange glances. You have won a duel of honor. You leave the mansion in silence. On the way home, Stefan addresses you guiltily. Stefan Brant. Listen, Davvon Jr., sorry for lying to you. I don't think you'd ever come if I told you the truth. I was wrong. You accepted the challenge like a true nobleman. The aristocrats won't refute that. For the time being, we're no longer in jeopardy. But I implore you, be more careful from now on. The family must not be harmed by your actions. The next morning, you go back to work. There's a letter on your desk. You recognize L. Bourne's handwriting at a glance. Augustine L. Bourne. Sir Davvon Jr. Brant, I hereby notify you that the prefecture has become aware of a duel you fought in the mansion of Friedrich El Liberius. According to the decree of His Majesty the Emperor Uther II forbidding dueling, you are liable to a fine to be paid to the Imperial Treasury. Your right to carry a sword is revoked for a term of 1 week. I understand how heavy the burden of your circumstance is, but a judge who breaks the law undermines the idea of justice in the eyes of all the estates. It is an unforgivable mistake. You sigh. The law is the law. No! I was protecting the commoners. Why would I lose justice by protecting the commoners? Wealth -1, but our valor is 20. We are invincible. Come and fight me now, you Arcanian bastards. What happens next? Year 1145 or 4. We have survived to be 26 years of age. Wait. And this is the end of this current well, not the playthrough, but this current video. I want to put this out here. I don't know how long I'm going to last in the next video. I was not expecting, I knew I would go through 2 lives there. Not the 3rd life so fast. I should have bribed the guards is what I should have done, and that's on me. But we are still alive. We have made it past the point we did before. Again, today is Sunday. I will be live tomorrow for the rest of the playthrough. Whether I die 15 minutes in or whether we make it to the end of the game and I'm streaming for 4 hours, I will be live starting tomorrow. Let's say around 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Maybe. We'll see how it goes. Either way, as always, I appreciate you all. You're all beautiful people. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. Thank you for sticking so far through the playthroughs as we have. If you guys would be so kind, if you guys are enjoying the playthrough, drop a like button or hit that subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And on that note, I will say goodbye. Peace.
Can I get some music for this?
Nope.
How long was that go?
You said 30 seconds.
How long have I been going?
10.
You got movie right?
I have no idea. I'm not even
Is this
watching.
31?
No comment.